Have you ever really stopped to think about the incredible engineering that's happening inside your foot with every single step you take? Well, today we're going to unpack one of its most clever, but often totally overlooked movements, eversion. All right, so here's our game plan for this deep dive into the foot. We're going to start by figuring out what this movement even is. Then we'll meet the muscles and the joint that make it all happen. After that, we'll get into why it's so incredibly important for your balance. And finally, we'll take a look at what happens when this amazing little system gets pushed too far.
Seriously, think about it for a second. You're on some uneven slope. Maybe you're out on a hike. What is actually stopping you from just tipping right over? The secret is this subtle, totally subconscious adjustment your ankle is making. And that adjustment, that's exactly what we're here to talk about.
And that brings us right to our first big idea. This simple little action is a true unsung hero of our anatomy. It's working all the time to keep us stable, and we never even give it a second thought. It's a surprisingly complex movement just hiding in plain sight.
Okay, so to really get a handle on this, we need to get our terms straight. You see, eversion doesn't exist in a vacuum. It has an opposite, and understanding both is totally key to grasping how your ankle really works.
So, in the simplest terms, eversion is when the bottom of your foot, the sole, turns to face away from your body. You can try it right now while you're sitting down. Just lift the inside edge of your foot up so your weight kind of rolls to the outer edge. See that? That little movement right there, that's eversion.
Now, the flip side of that, as you probably guessed, is called inversion. That's when you roll onto the outside of your foot, making the sole face inward, towards your other foot. They are perfect opposites, two sides of the same coin.
And hey, if you ever get them mixed up, here's a fantastic little memory trick. Try to evert both of your feet at the same time. You see how the soles of your feet kind of form a V shape? Well, V is for eversion. So simple, right? But it totally works. Okay, so now we know what the movement is. The next logical question is, what's actually making it happen? Let's meet the muscles that power the whole thing. Without them, it's just a plan with no engine. So, the main players here are a group of 3 muscles that run along the outside of your lower leg. They're called the peroneus longus, brevis, and tertius. As you can see, they all start up on your fibula bone and then run down to attach to different spots on your foot. So when these muscles decide to contract, they basically pull on the outside of your foot, lifting it up and causing that outward roll that we now know is called eversion.
But here's the cool part. They do way more than just start the movement. They are basically your ankle's personal bodyguards. When you're walking or running and your ankle starts to roll a little too far, boom. These peroneus muscles subconsciously kick in to pull it right back to a safe, stable position.
So we have our engines, the muscles. But where is all this action actually taking place? Now, you might think it's the main ankle joint, the one that lets you point your toes up and down. But the real magic happens at a very specific and very important joint just underneath it. Let's just take a second to appreciate the complex architecture here. I mean, look at all those bones. But for eversion, we really only need to zero in on 2 of them that create this very special stage. And here they are. This is what we're here to see. On top, we've got the talus bone, and right below it, the calcaneus, which, is just your heel bone. It's the unique way these 2 bones fit together, almost like a puzzle piece, that allows for all that side-to-side tilting we've been talking about. This connection is where it all happens.
And what do we call this crucial connection? It's the subtalar joint. This is the stage where eversion and inversion get to perform. Its entire reason for being is to allow your foot to do that side-to-side tilting.
All right, we have covered the what, the where, and the how. But honestly, the most important question is, why? I mean, why did our bodies even bother to evolve this specific kind of complex movement in the first place? And the answer, really, is all about adaptation. Eversion is absolutely critical for just keeping your balance, especially when you're on uneven ground, like a bumpy trail or a cobblestone street. It lets the bottom of your feet stay in better contact with the ground, giving your whole body a more stable base. And of course, it's essential for any kind of quick, side-to-side athletic movement. To make this super tangible, just think about ice skating. Your entire body is balanced on this tiny little blade, right? Well, your peroneus muscles are working overtime, constantly making these tiny eversion and inversion adjustments just to keep you upright. And if you haven't skated in years, you will definitely feel those muscles on the outside of your leg the next day. That soreness, that's eversion in action. But Like any system in the body, this one has its limits. And pushing your foot's ability to evert too far or too fast, well, that can lead to injury.
Just imagine landing really awkwardly from a jump, or maybe stepping off a curb the wrong way. Your foot rolls violently onto its inner side. What do you think happens next?
This is what causes an eversion ankle sprain. In this specific injury, the super strong ligament on the inner side of your ankle, it's called the deltoid ligament, it gets stretched way beyond what it can handle and it can tear. What's interesting is it's actually way less common than the typical rolled ankle sprain, and that's partly because that deltoid ligament is just so incredibly tough. So let's just boil this all down real quick. First, eversion is that outward roll of your foot. It's powered by those three proneus muscles on the outside of your leg. The movement itself all happens at that special spot called the subtalar joint. It is absolutely essential for our balance on uneven ground. And finally, if you push it too far, you risk spraying that tough deltoid ligament on the inside of your ankle. So the next time you're out for a walk, maybe on a grassy field or a bumpy path, just pay attention to your feet for a moment. See if you can almost feel those tiny automatic adjustments happening. You now understand the hidden genius that's at work down there, that complex little dance of muscles and bones that makes it all possible. Kind of makes you wonder, what other simple movements are way more complex than they seem?